Megan Cash, MEGHANCASH, Lieutenant and Public Information Officer for the Appleton Police Department.
Perfect. So can you just first kind of tell us the details? What kind of happened? What time did this all start?
Yep, so at approximately 12:30 p.m. today, officers from the Appleton Police Department were dispatched to 1818 North Meade Street for a person who called stating that they were in the parking lot and planned to create an imminent threat with a weapon, including an AR-15, to anybody in the area of the hospital. Officers responded quickly, were able to secure all entrances to the hospital and the parking lots surrounding, to include the daycare that's associated to the hospital as well, and all properties surrounding. Officers then were quickly notified as well that this was happening in multiple jurisdictions across Northeast Wisconsin, with similar calls being made into hospitals and healthcare facilities. At that point, officers continued to methodically search the hospital and the parking lots to ensure that everybody inside and in the exterior parking lots were safe, as well as clinics in the area related to the facilities. At this point, the hospital has been cleared. There's no threats in any of the clinics that we've located in Appleton here, and we're continuing to investigate what happened this afternoon.
And I'm sorry, you said that there were calls about to several other hospitals in the area, in the region? Do you know?
I believe that in Northeast Wisconsin, several different jurisdictions have received calls similar to this that have happened with similar details being provided by the caller. We're still looking into what those details are and if there are similarities. Any sort of threat coming into our community is something that we're going to take seriously, and until we can prove otherwise, it's going to be taken as a threat to our community.
And in this case, you didn't find anybody with a gun on the ThedaCare campus?
We did not find anybody with a gun, a weapon, or anything as described in the call.
What was done, were the people in the hospital put into a secure hold, or told to stay in the room that was there anything done
hospital procedures were taken as they have policies regarding how they determine that. Our staff responded and secured all the locations within the hospital that were entrances, and made sure that we had secured that facility as quickly as possible and created a perimeter around the campus as a whole to ensure the safety of those in that area.
For people at the hospital or in the neighborhood who live around here and kind of experience that, or maybe shooken up by that, what would be your message to them as law enforcement officials?
My response to anybody in this area is our officers responded within minutes of this happening. We had officers in this immediate area prior to the call coming out, so the response time was very fast, and the ability for our partners, special thanks to all of our partners, law enforcement partners from the Outagamie County Sheriff's Office, State Patrol, and Grand Chute, many other jurisdictions arrived here very quickly to help us make sure that we could secure over 40 different entrances to the facility. That was done very methodically and very quickly.
Do we know if this person who made this supposed threat is local, or is this an outside source?
At this point, they're still investigating the location of where the call came from, who that person could be, and some of those specific details. That's still kind of under investigation.
Do you know if it was a man or a woman?
At this point, I know there's been multiple different reports, and so I think that's what we're trying to sort out, is exactly where did it come from. It sounds like it could have been rerouted from different locations, so that's really where we're at right now, is just determining where did that come from. Is it local? Is there a nexus to this area? Is there a need for us to have an awareness? Is it an Appleton resident? Is it not? At this point, we do not know that.
Was this an organized type of threat to several? I mean, that's what it kind of sounds like, but do we know if this was a group of people?
At this point, all we know is that we got a singular call into Appleton here that we responded to our facilities here in Appleton. We're going to continue to work with our partners at ThedaCare to continue to communicate what policies and procedures they have, and to determine where that call came in and tracing that back to its location.
So the original call was to the hospital, and then you guys responded to that when the hospital called you?
Yes, that's correct.
I guess the only other thing I have is, obviously, somebody called in a threat to this hospital. You have to take that very seriously, but when we come out of it, when it kind of, for the time being, seems like there was never really a threat to begin with, what kind of inconvenience does that pose to?
Sure. So I think any threat coming into our community, we're going to take seriously, right? We want to make sure that our community understands that that a threat, especially of this nature, to do harm to people, especially in any facility within our community, whether that is a school, that's a hospital, that's a place of work, is a serious thing, and it's going to be taken serious with those consequences. And so our concern right now is obviously to investigate what we have, what we can do about that, but then as well to put our residents and our community members at ease that we had that very quick response. Our law enforcement and our community partners were able to work together very quickly to make sure that any threat that was there was mitigated and handled as quickly as possible. And it takes a community to keep our community safe. And so today is an example of the amount of community partners that we need to continue to communicate well to be able to make sure that any threat like this is handled quickly.
Understandably, this is still under investigation, but would this be categorized as one of the swatting calls that we're kind of seeing across the country?
So it's potential. There's definitely potential when we see those multiple calls being called in. We as law enforcement never want to assume that could be the case until we can prove otherwise. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Here's two.
This one's me. Thank you.